Oh, somebody was very keen with the record button there. Thank you, team. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday evening. I'm going to go through a couple of housekeeping things, but hopefully you're here for the NHS Clinical Entrepreneur Programme Q&A session. My name is Lucy. I'm Programme Manager. I'm going to go around and introduce the rest of the team in a minute. But just a couple of housekeeping things. We will be recording, or we are recording this session, and we'll send this round to everybody who has registered, so you can watch that back. If you have any questions or you'd like to introduce yourself, please use the chat, or there'll be opportunities to put your hand up and ask questions along the way. Okay. So let's get started. So firstly, hello, welcome. We are currently open to applications, which is very exciting. My name is Lucy. I am the Programme Manager for the NHS Clinical Entrepreneur Programme. I also look after our patient programme and our Dementia Innovators programme, and I'm joined by some of my colleagues this evening. So we'll just go around and introduce everybody. So Polly, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today. You're all very welcome, and I hope you'll all be applying for the programme. My name is Polly. Did I say that already? I can't remember. So, say it again. I'm Polly. I am National Programme Lead for the Clinical Entrepreneur Programme, and I look after learning and events. Jenny,
Thanks.
do you want to go next?
Thank you. Yes, hello everybody. It's nice to meet you all. I can see some familiar names from emails and previous webinars. So hello, and if you're completely new, as Polly has said and Lucy has said, you're very, very welcome. So my name's Jenny Petty and I'm a Programme Support Officer for the Clinical Entrepreneur Programme. Thank you.
Tamsin, over to you.
Hi, my name is Tamsin. I work as a paediatrician in Cambridge, and I have joined the Clinical Entrepreneur Programme in year 4, and I was developing a device and an app. And since then, I've joined the team to deliver. So it's been a complete joy to be able to support other people and try and stop them hitting their heads on all the things that I hit my heads on. They're so welcome to the webinar, and lovely to see you all here.
And in addition, and I've just seen them sneak on, I know that Alice and Sophie are here from our patient programme. Alice, do you want to say hello?
Sure, yes. I'm Alice Williams. I actually work at NHS England in the Innovation Research and Life Sciences unit, and Sophie and I both work on the Patient Entrepreneur Programme, and we also work on wider patient and public involvement in innovation and research. So Sophie, do you want to say hi?
Hi everybody. So Alice has done all the hard work there in the intro, so I can just say I work in Alice's team, so Patient and Public Involvement Manager, and we help coordinate the Patient Entrepreneur Programme. So yeah, delighted to be recruiting to cohort 3 of that at the moment. So yes, any PPI questions or things that we need to know, we're happy to help as well.
Thank you so much, Sophie and Alice, and thanks for joining us. So they are key to our patient programme, and they really do support all of our patient innovators. So thank you so much for joining. So tonight is actually really about you and about questions you might have around our application process. I thought, just to get things started, are there any of you who are brand new to this programme and don't know anything about it? If you are, can you just put little hands up? Because what we'll do is we'll go over exactly what the programme is, how it works, benefits. Okay, we've got Zoe. Welcome, Zoe. Brilliant. Okay. So what I think we'll do is Polly and I will actually, there's quite a few brand new people. Lovely. Oh, there's lots of thumbs up as well. Brilliant. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll actually go over what the programme is, what it's about, what you can get from it, etc. So welcome. We are the NHS Clinical Entrepreneur Programme. We are a workforce development programme for NHS staff, and we have been going for the past 9 years. So we're actually open for applications for cohort 10, which is amazing. So we've actually had 1,500 entrepreneurs through the programme since it started. And really the aim of the programme was to give clinicians an opportunity to pursue innovation while working in the health service. So often a clinician really had to choose between following their innovation or following their actual NHS career. This programme was put into place to really support those innovators. As the years have gone on, it has been opened up to everybody working in the NHS. And this year, we're actually opening up for our 3rd year of the patient programme, which is fantastic. So we bring patients in and we support them with the likes of Sophie and Alice. And also, this is going to be the 2nd year that we actually bring innovators in the health and social care sector in to support those innovators who are working on dementia innovations. So that's across that kind of whole dementia journey. So we're really, really excited about that. So the CEP is basically a workforce development program, as I said. It lasts 12 months, so we're open for applications now. The program will actually start in spring 2026. It's 12 months long, and it consists of learning events called pit stops, which are delivered in a blended fashion, so both in person and via Zoom. And these really are our key kind of curriculum delivery methods. So they consist of an evening and then a full day's learning. And we teach you basically all of the skills you need to either develop an entrepreneurial project or possibly a startup or an innovation. So that's everything from funding, communications. We had a fantastic Teams Day recently up in Glasgow at Pit Stop 4, which was fantastic. We also did like a bit of Myers-Briggs, leadership, etc. So we cover the curriculum throughout the year, and there's generally 8 pit stops. Around those pit stops, there's also workshops, webinars, industry days, different events that you can attend. So we often have speaker opportunities. For example, we worked with BMJ recently, haven't we, Tamsin? So we had a lot of our patients, we had a lot of our innovators going along and speaking about the innovations and the ideas that they're working on. So the program, as I said, lasts 12 months. We ask you to attend 50% of our pit stops. So that's 4 of those, and that can be either online or in person. We make sure it's all delivered via Zoom. So don't worry if maybe you're far away from pit stop, you can't get the time off. We make sure it's as accessible as possible. You can also catch up with all of our recordings on our community hub. So we have a dedicated online platform where you can connect with other innovators. You can catch up with recordings, you can look at opportunities that either the team or other innovators have posted. So it's a really great resource there. There's also various groups you can get involved with, and you can message your peers and things like that. Okay. I think that's kind of the program for the 12 months. On top of that, we do actually have a mentoring section of the program. So a couple of months, once you've bedded in, we actually give you access to our mentoring platform, and our mentoring part is actually so valuable. We often hear that our entrepreneurs find that one of the most valuable parts of the program. So we give you a professional mentor who give their time for free to really support you through your innovation. And they can support you regardless of the stage of your innovation. So even if you're early stage and maybe you've just got an idea, we have a range of mentors who are there to support you. In addition, there are one-to-one sessions, so that will cover IP, finance, sometimes sales, so there's a lot of like really fantastic resources there, but it is built to fit around your life and your work. Okay, we are completely flexible. Okay, Polly, did you want to come in on any of that? Because I've just talked quite a bit there.
Just to add that the program has created a really amazing community for entrepreneurs to participate in. So if you were to apply and be accepted onto the program, you would benefit from all the knowledge from clinical entrepreneurs that have been through the program already. So they provide really great peer support and guidance alongside the mentors, alongside our program of partners as well. So it's a really collaborative program in terms of all of the people working together and all of the clinical entrepreneurs that can benefit from that huge networking community. I don't know if you mentioned that, Lucy. Sorry.
I didn't. Thank you for adding that. Yeah. And if you want to know a little bit more about the program, obviously we have a load of resources on our website. We also have stats for the past 8 years as well, so you can really see the impact that the innovations have had. We do get a lot of people who are thinking about applying and they're going, I'm really early stage, can I still apply? To the CEP and the Dementia Innovators, yes, of course you can. We generally have around 40% of our year, which are early stage ideas. So we do welcome everybody at every stage of the innovation journey. With the patient entrepreneurs, we ask that they're a little bit further on. Okay, so they're not just at the idea stage. Polly, did you want to come in?
Yeah, I just also wanted to add that we have a real diversity of innovation on the programme, as well as diversity of clinical profession or NHS support or professional staff on the main clinical entrepreneur programme. So we have things that might be devices or diagnostics or clinical pathways. Like you'll see from our case studies that we support a whole range of different entrepreneurs that are developing different innovations. So it's worth checking out the sorts of entrepreneurs that are on the programme as well. We also have people that are doing things that are really commercial or others that are doing intrapreneurial ideas and working in their hospital to change the way things are done, or developing charities, community interest companies, social enterprises. So they are real diverse bunch.
And I think one of the final things before we go on to the application side is, it is, as I said, it's completely flexible. You need to attend 50% of the pit stops. You need to attend your mentor sessions, but you really get out what you put in. We will not chase you. We will not spoon feed you. If Tony Young was here, that's what he'd be saying. You get out what you put in. So you can attend as much as you want to, but we will not do that for you. Okay. It's really flexible. We hope you will apply. It is a fantastic community. If you need to have any more reason, please go and look at our YouTube channel, have a look at the big pitch from this year, which was fantastic. You can hear from some of our innovators, you can hear from some of our partners, our mentors and things like that. So please do take a look at that. Has anybody got any questions just about the programme right now? If not, we'll go into a little bit more detail about the application process. Oh, thank you, Jenny, for sharing that. That's brilliant. Okay. So, oh, we've got a hand. Hi, Joyce.
Hello, I'm sorry. I'm trying to put my camera on as well, but I'm struggling to do so. Just bear with me. Here we go. I think that might work.
Do you want to introduce yourself and where you're calling from, Joyce?
I will, definitely. So I am hoping to apply for the Patient Entrepreneur Programme. And there's this thing that I'm uncertain about that I've heard today, and I've heard on other webinars as well, that the patient entrepreneurs innovation needs to be further developed than the clinical entrepreneurs ones. I was just wondering if you could go into that in a little bit more detail, please.
Yeah, so we will go over this a little bit, but a lot of our clinical entrepreneurs, they apply just with an idea. With the patient one, we want that a little bit more developed. So you've actually already started developing your innovation, where it's going, what it's actually going to look like. Alice, did you want to come in on this? Because you're here with our...
I'm happy to. So,
yeah.
Am I on camera or off? Sorry, I've been dealing with...
You're on camera. You are on camera.
Yeah, Joyce, the reason that we ask for patient entrepreneurs to be a little bit further on in the development of their idea is quite often, or as in terms of the applications, one of the things that we need to see is that patients have done a little bit of work around viability, because we don't have as many patient entrepreneur places as we do in the clinical entrepreneur program. So it is a competitive process, and we want to make sure that people can make the best use of the program, which isn't at absolutely, I've got an idea in my brain stage. You need to have done some more work to make sure that you understand what the opportunity is, not just, kind of, and we have had applications to the patient entrepreneur program in the past, literally saying, like, this has happened to me and I think it's a good idea. And while we can see that that's the germ of an idea, it's actually not enough to kind of really build into the program. We need you to have done a little bit of market research, bit of Googling. what's the size of the need of the thing that I'm trying to solve? What am I trying to solve? And is it really needed by the NHS and the healthcare service? So you'll need to have done a little bit of that. And of course, clinicians and healthcare professionals are in a slightly different position when they apply, because they kind of see this stuff every day. So some of this stuff they know and can put into their application just because of the stuff of the position that they're coming from and the knowledge that they're bringing. So we need patients to have done some of that background work, so that we can make sure that that you're working on something that has some viability, has got some kind of identified need, has done a little bit. We're not asking people to have all got prototypes or all have developed a kind of like beta version app or anything like that. But we do need you to kind of go on, I'm going to be working on menopause. I can see here is the size of the prize. There are, X number of women affected by this. There are X number of unidentified or unsupported, so we need you to have done a little bit of that work. And some of that stuff comes naturally through some of the clinical entrepreneur applications.
Okay,
Thank you,
brilliant.
Alice.
Thank you, Alice.
Thank you. Pat, do you want to quickly introduce yourself and ask the question before we go on to the application questions?
Thank you. Yes, so I was wanting to ask, if I've already had 1 year's worth of accelerator program with the Alzheimer's Society for my innovation, am I excluded from another application, or can I apply to this as well? That has now finished, but I continue to have some level of support from the Alzheimer's Society.
You're welcome to apply to this as well, Pat. Yes,
Oh, okay.
very welcome. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
that answers my
Excellent.
question. Thank you.
No problem. So I think there were a couple of questions in the chat, but I think we probably will cover those in the slides coming up. So what I'll do is, this is when my tech goes all wrong. I'm going to share a couple of slides. Okay, so let's see if this works. See if I can get the slideshow working. So is that working? Alice, can you just nod because I can see you on my screen? Is that all good? Okay, brilliant. So we're just going to go over a couple of the applications, sort of questions and things like that. So we've been through sort of the aims of the program. We're really here to support innovation in the healthcare sector, and also patient innovation. We want to hear the patient voice. We really want to include those patient voices in the future of the NHS. So as I said, this year, we actually have 3 programs. So we've just opened for applications, been open a week. We have the NHS Clinical Entrepreneur Programme. So that is open to all NHS staff, both clinical and non-clinical. So if you work in the NHS, and that includes GPs, pharmacists, it includes locums, AHPs, you are welcome to apply. If you work for a private company and you're not employed by the NHS, you will not be eligible, I'm afraid. There are lots of other support out there for innovations. If you want to know about those, please just drop us a line and we can send you links to those. There is the NHS Innovation Accelerators, the Innovation Service, there's various catapults, there's growth hubs and things like that that you can actually, you can tap into, and you can get resources and support from there. There's also the Health Innovation Network. So there's 15 sites across the UK who can really support you, okay? So the Clinical Entrepreneur Programme is a workforce development programme. It is the largest of the cohort for the year. So we usually take between 150 and 200 applications, but they all have to be of a level, okay? You can apply with just an idea all the way through to an innovation that's maybe already out in trusts. So we welcome innovations from across that kind of innovation readiness and development stage. And so that is open now. We also have the fantastic patient program that I'm really proud of. And thank you again to Alice and Sophie for being here. So we really want to have those patients who've got lived experience, who have used their experience to really shape and kind of drive an innovation forward, okay? And as Alice said, we want those to be a little bit more developed so we can actually really support them. That is a smaller cohort. I think we're going to do about 15 this year, aren't we, Alice? So it's a really fantastic cohort. You have a lot of peer support there. The team hosts drop-ins and one-to-ones. So while you get access to the main clinical entrepreneur program, so you get all access to the pit stops, workshops, webinars that the main program has, you also get this fantastic wraparound support from the patient team. Okay. They also do additional workshops and webinars really tailored to that kind of patient innovator. So it's a fantastic program. It is competitive, so make sure you do a fantastic job. No pressure at all. And then finally, we have the Dementia Innovators program, which is fantastic. It is a collaboration with the Alzheimer's Society. This will be the second year that we are running it. Again, it is a smaller cohort, so we'll have up to 10 places on that program, and that is for both health and social care staff to apply if they've got an innovation to support those living with dementia. So that can be at any stage of the dementia journey. It could be around diagnostics, it could be around apps, it could be around supporting carers. So anybody in that health and social care space can apply. So maybe you're an Admiral nurse, maybe you're working in a care home, you can apply for that. And what that does is it gives you access to the main CEP program again. So all of our workshops, all of our pit stops, our mentoring platform, etc. But it also gives you access to the fantastic team at the Alzheimer's Society. So we work really closely with Steve, who's one of the innovation managers, and they have an innovation collective. They have lots of groups linking back to patient co-design as well. So it really will support your innovation, and there's lots of additional opportunities that they can provide as well. So there are 3 programs. They are all open for application now. If you go to our website, nhscep.com, you can find more details around each program. Okay. So I'm going to apologise if there's any spelling in this. Somebody did notice one the other day, so I will apologise. As I said, applications are open right now. They are closing at 4 p.m. on the 28th of November. Please do not try and submit one after that. We give you 4 weeks, which is plenty of time to hopefully submit an application. We need you to complete it in full. If it's not completed in full, you will not be able to submit it, and we will not accept incomplete applications. Okay, so please make sure you get that in. There will be 2 other drop-in sessions after this. So if you have just little questions, if you're not sure about something, I'll be on hand on both Monday the 24th, I believe it is. I think that's the 24th, which is the Monday, and also that final Friday, because everybody loves to do it last minute. I would avoid doing that. Please avoid doing that and get your application in as soon as possible. Then we go to assessment phase. So the assessment is carried out by 3 assessors that mark every single application. It then goes to a panel review as well. Okay, so they actually mark it on various criteria. We're very open about what that criteria is. You can go to the website and view that, but we include about you as a person, but also about your innovation. So that's personal motivation, personal capability, viability of innovation, clinical impact, and also priority to the NHS. With the patient program, we also want to know about your lived experience. That's a really important part of it, and we specifically ask you a question around that. Okay. Once applications are assessed, outcomes will be notified early April, and the programme will start in spring. I do not have a definite date for that yet. I know somebody was asking about pit stop dates. Yet we haven't got those yet, but we ensure that you have at least 6 weeks notice on any pit stops. We generally release them all in one go at the start of the year, but we're still working on those. So yeah, the minute you get your outcome, hopefully we'll be ready to notify you, but yeah, we don't have those yet. Okay. So to apply, dead easy, just go to our website. Actually, on the homepage, you'll see that there are 3 buttons. You can click onto that, and that will take you directly to our application portal. There'll be a list of the 3 forms you can fill out. So 1 for the clinical entrepreneur program, 1 for the patient program, 1 for the dementia innovators. Make sure you're applying to the right one. We will not transfer applications between different programs, but you can apply to more than one if you so wish, but you need to do a separate application. Okay. It's really straightforward. You just basically need to make sure you've got a live email address. Please don't use an email address that's going to get made redundant, or maybe it's a work one and you're planning to move in a couple of weeks. Please don't do that. And your first and surname. Okay, so you just need to apply with that, and that will set you up with an account. And then you can start your application process. Okay, so it's quite straightforward with that. So here, I will share these slides because they've got all active links. We have a range of resources on the website to do with the applications. We want you to do well. We're not going to hide anything from you. There's the list of all the questions on the website, so you can download that, you can go through that, you can prepare before you maybe go onto the application portal. There's all the FAQs on there. Please take a look at that. But there's also the criteria. So make sure that you're applying, you are eligible for the application. On first filter, we will remove anybody who isn't eligible. So please make sure you do check that. On the website, there's also some guidance material. So we go through each assessed question and we really give you hints and tips on how to actually answer that question. Again, we want you to do really well. There's a couple of things that we always get, maybe some feedback. We have feedback for applications that maybe didn't do as well. Please do your research. I think Alice mentioned this. You know, you need to have done a little bit of research about your problem. Even if you haven't got a full innovation already developed, make sure you understand the problem that you're trying to solve. Make sure you do that research. Make sure you look into that and you understand what that problem is and how big it is. We want to know that you've done it. We don't want to look at something and go, there's nothing else out there, when we know that there is. And you can just see that with a simple Google search. Okay, so make sure you spend some time doing that. That's really important. The other one is the pitch. Now, everybody gets a little bit nervous about this. You have to do a 60-second video pitch. That's done on the portal.
So, one on four.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so you need to do a 60-second pitch on the portal. Okay, and that's really about the problem, about you, and what your proposed solution is. Okay, and I know there'll be a lot of early stage people, and we know that maybe your solution will not be 100%. We get that, but we want to hear from you. We want to see that you're really enthusiastic. We want you to have demonstrated that you understand the problem. Okay, and that will come across in your pitch. So please try and perfect that. There's some fantastic resources that we've got. Jenny did a fantastic session with John Torrens around pitching your idea. If you have not seen that, please go and have a look at that. That's on our CEP Innovate Health series that we ran in the autumn. There's a YouTube link that you can take a look at and go and have a listen to that. So that's really, really helpful. So make sure you perfect that. I will say you can re-record as many times as you want. So it's not you've recorded and that's it. You can re-record. So you can watch it back and go, I need to do that again, or actually that was perfect, submit. Okay, so lots of resources there on the website. Please do use them. If there's other questions you've got, please just contact us or join one of the drop-in sessions. We're here to help you. Okay. So as I said, these are kind of the key areas. We really want to know why you want to join the program. Again, we want to know about you as a person. It's not just purely about the innovation. This is an individual application, okay? You're not applying on behalf of your organisation or your company. You're applying as an individual in the NHS or an individual patient. We will not give access to your organisation to the program. Okay, so maybe there's a couple of you who are working on a project and you both want to apply and both want to be on the program. Make sure you both put an application in. Okay, they need to be slightly different. Please don't do a carbon copy of them. We've seen that before. Yeah, don't do that. We want to know about you as individuals as well. Polly, did you want to add anything to that bit?
Sorry, I've just been really focusing on the chat there and just answering questions in the chat. So there has been a question in the chat that relates to someone creating an idea with a co-founder, which I've just answered. However, I just wanted to articulate, and Lucy might have said this, but I was concentrating on the chat, that you apply as an individual rather than an innovation or a company. As she said, if there are two of you working on the innovation and you're both eligible, you both can apply. But yeah, please remember it's an individual-based application rather than one relating to a specific innovation.
Thanks, Paul. Okay, so yeah, So these are the key areas. Again, every one of them, you have your video pitch. It's great practice. If you're on the program, you're going to be asked to pitch. Please just get comfortable with it. We do lots of support around pitching as well. So this is a great opportunity. Okay. So things that we put down that basically people miss. This is like the what not to do or what really to do. So as I said, read the FAQs. Please do check that out. If you have any other FAQs or any other questions, please just let us know. Use the valid email address. We do get a couple of people each year who go, that email address isn't valid. Please just you can use your personal one if you prefer, but just make sure it's going to be valid in the next couple of months. Okay. Please make sure you apply to the right program. As I said, we will not transfer an application over, but you can apply to more than one. Make sure you check your eligibility. So that's all on the website. Make sure that you are eligible. As I said, if you're not, if you're applying for, say, the CEP and you actually work for a small company, I'm afraid you won't be eligible and you will be removed at first application. Okay, first filter, sorry. For the CEP program, we actually ask for 2 reference letters. Okay, so they need to be people that you've worked with in a professional capacity over the last 2 years. So that can be within and outside of the NHS, but you need to have worked with them. And you need to upload those as documents onto the application portal ahead of the closing of the application round. Okay, so that needs to be part of your application. It will not let you submit it without putting those documents on there. For the patient and the dementia innovators, you need to upload your CV. Okay, and you can upload any type of documents. That's Word, text, PDF document. If you get into a pickle with any of that, please just let me know. Happily walk that through with you, no problem at all. For a lot of the open text questions, you have a word limit of 200 words. So we are not asking for a novel. We have already had people this year asking for us to expand that. That is not going to happen. We need you to be concise with your answers and to the point. We have a lot of applications we go through, so please think about how you're answering them and make the best use of those 200 words. Okay. As I said, complete all the sections. You won't be able to submit if you do not. The video pitch, remember, you can record that as much as you like. Please don't leave it to the last day. I used to do this where I had applications closing at midnight on Sundays. I've decided I won't do that anymore because I was getting calls at 11:57 at night. I would say, please don't leave it to the last day. Please make sure you've got it done and you're checking it and you're submitting it with a couple of days to go, okay? You don't want to be in a panic and miss things. So you've got like 4 weeks, well, 3 weeks now to get your application in. So please make sure you use that time. And also make sure you apply to the portal, via the portal, sorry. We will not accept Word documents. We will not accept PDFs or email applications. That said, if you need any reasonable adjustments, please get in contact with us. So just email cep@aru.ac.uk and we can go through that process with you. Okay, that's for reasonable adjustments. Okay. So just don't forget, there are resources on the website for you to use. We are here to help you as well. Application is for individuals. Every year we do get a couple of applications that are joint applications. Please don't do that. Please apply as individuals. That would be great. And make sure you have your reference letters and your CVs ready. Okay, right. I think that's all the slides I was going to share on that. I think we were going to go into pitching, but I'm going to stop sharing that slide there. I went through a lot there and probably quite quick. So is there any questions? Does anybody want to put up their hand and ask any questions or introduce themselves? Just over what I've covered. So, yeah.
Hello.
Hi, Eric. Did you have a question? Were you just about to ask a question?
Yeah, I was about to ask a question. I think someone wanted to speak. Can I go, or David?
No, you go first.
Right. So my name is Eric. I'm a registered nurse working in University Hospital Bristol and Western NHS Foundation Trust. I wanted to ask a quick question about the reference letters. is there a way we could get our referees to send it without us seeing what they've written? Because when I'm asking people to get me the reference, the character reference, it feels like getting them to write something nice about you, because at the end of the day, you'll be the one uploading it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you need to upload it, I'm afraid. So
Okay.
it will need to be sent to you because you'll need to upload it as part of your application. We
Yeah.
don't do that on your behalf. There is a little template that we've got on the website. So some reference letters are really long and actually go into the history around how that person has worked with you. Some are actually quite short, but they do need to come via you because you need to upload them onto the portal.
Okay. I thought maybe there was a link somewhere that they would click and send it over without us seeing what they've written.
No, I'm
Okay.
afraid not. No,
That's
sorry about that,
fine
Eric.
then. It's all right.
But
Thank you.
also, Eric, I think don't worry about it too much because people who have been your line managers will have been expected to have produced those type of things beforehand. So you don't have to feel too uncomfortable about it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Also, it could be an email if you ask them for a reference and they reply with it in an email, you can just upload that as well. So it doesn't need to be an actual letter. It could just be a response to you asking them by email for a reference.
Yeah, you
All
just
right,
need to save that
thank you.
email as a PDF or something like that, Eric, and just upload that. That's fine. Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, was it David next who had a question?
Yeah, my apologies. I'm here on behalf of somebody who works in a hospice. I don't know if she's an NHS employee, but because she's on a shift, she can't attend. And I just wanted to know, assuming she's not an NHS employee, she's a full-time nurse, can she apply for any of these 3 programs? Because I just found out that the patients one is for patients, the CEP is for NHS employees. What if you are a nurse who used to work in a hospital, an NHS hospital? Can you apply for any of these projects? Because she's got some very good ideas.
So, sorry, Polly, were you going to come in then? No.
No.
No, sorry. So if she's applying to the dementia, is she so she's social care, so she could apply to the Dementia Innovators Program? Yes.
Okay, so she can apply to that one even if she's not a nurse who works in the NHS, but she's
so health and social care staff can apply to that one. Yeah.
That's the one.
But if she's got any specific questions around like her job title and things like that, if she wants to contact us directly, we're more than happy to talk that through
Can
with
she
her.
send an email to you?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Just if she sends it to the CEP inbox, I think Jenny's probably had that in the chat, but Jenny, do you mind just popping that in again? And
Just
more
put it
than
in.
happy to have a chat with her around that. No problem. Is that all right, David?
Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you. Hi, Mary, you've got your hand up. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, hi. Yeah, I'm Mary. I'm an occupational therapist in NHS services in dementia care. So it's the dementia programme that I'm interested in. And I just wondered how competitive is it? Not that that should have any bearing on how hard you work on your application, but I just wondered really.
So last year with the Dementia Innovators Programme, it was the first time we ran it. We had, I think it was around 60 applications and we only took 10. It is a competitive process, but I would put an application in. You know, they're looking for innovations across the dementia pathway, as I said. So please do put your application in. For those who maybe are here and they realise they don't work for health and social care and are still interested in having some dementia innovation support, the Alzheimer's Society actually has their Launchpad program open as well, which is a 6-month kind of accelerator program. So if anybody is interested in that, we can provide a link as well. But yeah, Mary, please do pop your application in. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm trying.
If you've got any problems, just let me know. More than happy to help.
Yeah,
Okay?
thank you. You've been answering them because I had that query about the video wasn't working, but actually it's Safari that wasn't, and Chrome, Google Chrome has sorted it out.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Okay.
Thank
well, just
you.
get me posted if you need anything else. It's no problem. Okay.
Cheers.
Thank you. Connor, I think you've got your hand up next.
Hi, yeah, thanks. My name is Connor. I am a radiologist at UCLH. I just had a question about the nature of the innovation, and whether or not you accept work around that's more directly focused on organizational change. So where the focus might not necessarily be on patient outcomes as the primary outcome, but staff well-being, productivity, organizational efficiencies, that sort of project. Is that the sort of thing that applies as a clinical innovation?
Tamsin, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, that sounds great, Connor. Yes, it's quite and a nice point to have made. It's the clinical entrepreneur program is open not just for direct patient innovations that will affect patient care, but also innovations that help the whole NHS system. And when Lucy was talking about sort of some people are more entrepreneurial, so some people are looking for a wider system change, and some people are looking at a small pathway within their hospital, so it can also be a pathway change. So thanks for bringing that up, because yes, it is that wide, and there are several entrepreneurs within the space of thinking about sort of staff well-being and processes to improve the system and how staff engage. So yeah, very welcome with that.
Great. Thank you. Maybe there's something about radiologists being introverts and entrepreneurs at the same time, perhaps.
You have a good cohort of radiologists, actually. They're all
Oh,
amazing.
really?
Yeah, you'll love them. Yeah.
Too much time on our hands. All right. Thank you.
So is it Adana?
Yes, it's Adana. You got it
Hi.
right. Hi. Sorry, I'm not in a position to put on my camera at the moment because I'm
fine. It's no problem.
in
Welcome.
a crowded area. But thank you. I wanted to ask about the patient entrepreneur program. So I already have an invention that is pretty well developed, but can I still apply as through the PEP, even though I'm not a patient directly? I'm not a patient myself, but I am very close to someone who has been impacted by the condition being osteoporosis. Is that possible?
Yes, I would say, but should we get Alice, do you want to come in on this one?
Yeah, I have unmuted in readiness. And actually it's helpful because I think there's a few questions about the patient entrepreneur program in the chat. So the patient entrepreneur program is for patients or family members, family carers of patients who are using your experience of being the patient with a condition or being the carer of a loved one with that condition, and you've used your direct experience of that, your lived experience of that, to create your innovation. So you understand the need for the innovation. It's kind of really rooted in your lived experience. And then you've done some additional work around kind of, is this a broader need? Is this happening to other people? What's the need in the health service to really fix this problem? It is possible, if you are not a family carer, but you are a guardian or you are the nominated not into power of attorney or anything like that, but like if you are the nominated person, somebody lives with you but they're not family, or if you've got a really strong, close, direct relationship with somebody that you're caring from, absolutely put that in your application form, because we will take that into consideration. But the patient program is for patients and family members. And the reason for that is there are other routes for staff innovators. So obviously there's the clinical entrepreneurs for NHS staff in that broader sense. There is also the dementia program, but outside of the work that Lucy and Polly are championing, there are other innovator programs, both nationally and regionally, that are led by, for example, the Health Innovation Networks and other sources. So staff broadly, health and social care staff, and also private organisations have a lot of opportunity to dive into innovator stimulus programs, but there is not so much in terms of opportunity for patients and family members, which is why we created this program, to really offer that additional bespoke support. So hopefully that kind of clears it up. If you are a staff member, this is not for you unless you are using your lived experience of head trauma or Alzheimer care, or of your loved ones, or yourself, then this program is for you. So hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah, that's very helpful. So I have experience caring for my mother-in-law. With that, can I still apply?
Yep,
Am I still eligible?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Adana. So who we got next? Is it Pooja?
Hi, yes.
Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
Welcome.
So my question is actually about how far the innovation you are looking on. Like, is it in a prototype level, or at the end of the program, it should be a kind of product, it should be implemented for the users, or just an like idea and a solution one?
You mean how far you should have actually progressed with your innovation through the
Yes,
12 months?
exactly. Yeah.
Right. So innovation is often not that simple. So some people who've actually been on the program are actually just getting there with their innovation. So that could have been 5 or 6 years ago. So we don't ask you to make sure that you've got a prototype at the end of year one. We are really flexible. We give you that support and we signpost and we give you the learning and the networks, but there is no, you should have this done by this time. Okay.
Got it. Yeah.
So there's no pressure to do that. And often innovations do progress at different rates, I would say. Tamsin, do you want to come in on this? Because as well as our clinical lead, Tamsin is actually an innovator herself. Do you want to give a little bit of an overview of yours?
I was just going to add as well, thank you, Lucy, but some people completely need to pivot or change what they're doing depending on what they've found out during the program, what their competitors are doing, where your innovation is at. And so because of that, then it depends on your own journey. And so you're able to access the bits that you need for your own journey. So I think that for some people, pivoting sometimes into quite a different area for their product, or even realizing that there's a different idea or a different problem behind the original problem that they were dealing with, means that they can completely change where they're at. So it can mean that at the end of the year, you might be starting quite newly with an idea, and that's absolutely fine. And it's really interesting to see how people do develop their ideas the more that they understand, and also interestingly how some people will go into different leadership positions. So it sometimes changes the type of job you're in, or the type of leadership positions you might go for, something that we weren't really expecting to capture, but something that Polly actually tracked, having been through the program with Professor Tony Young from day one.
Okay, what I'm looking from this program is actually I really wish to make it into a prototype level, or like kind of a product level which big users can use it. So will I get the mentorship from within the team and proper guidance? Like, I'm new to NHS. I just joined and just 1 year, and I'm working as an administrative team, but all my skills and my education, everything back to IT. So I'm planning to build some IT thing which is really helpful for the clients, which means users, both patients and clinicians. So I hope I'll get some mentorships and guidance from the program.
Yes, so the mentoring, I'm sure Lucy will expand on this, because Lucy sort of created the mentor matching platform. So there is a way now for you to decide what that is that you need the help with. So it might be that it's something more holistic for yourself, such as more of a coaching mentor, but it might be that you need something particularly in regulatory or around research, or around branding, or how you're going to cope with your social media. And because people are at different points, then there's a huge number of mentors with the most extraordinary experience. Some of them who have got to such a successful point that they are now kind of giving back to the NHS as part of their own social value. And so there are even people within Parliament who have offered to be mentors. So there's a huge wide range, some really interesting industry partners. you will be able to say what you're looking for, and the platform which Lucy will be able to speak about better than me will be able to match you to the mentor. And there's also a way for you, even if your first conversation with the mentor isn't quite right, or you're not quite the right match, or they suggest that there's someone else that you need to speak to, that you can then make sure you find the right mentor. I'll actually talk about it more.
And I have one more question. So when it says 12-month program, what do we have some future, like if I wish to continue, or if I wish to do some research more on the same topic and build something, so will I get support, or is it just for 12 months?
So the focus is around the 12 months, but we have a very large alumni, which means that people stay very connected to the program. Again, I'll let the program managers take that. But yes, we have a huge alumni now of well over 1,500 people. Those people have ended up sometimes mentoring other people or supporting other people because they understand what it's like to be at the point that you're at. So you've got I'll let Lucy and Polly talk about it.
Sure, thank you.
Tamsin, I think you did a great job. I don't know if I need to add too much to that. I think the only thing I was going to add about maybe matching around, the technical side and mentoring, and Polly, you might want to jump in on this. We also do things like hackathons as well. So, there's plenty of opportunities to actually progress your innovation. We'll also signpost opportunities. So, for example, Cognis have been working with Health Innovation East around no code, low code kind of digital hubs. So we'll also, signpost that kind of opportunity to our network as well. So we really try and bring everybody together and make sure that you've got as much access to everything that you need going forward. As Tamsin said, regarding after the 12 months, you can join our alumni network. So you can continue on. You can maybe attend pit stops that maybe you couldn't do in your first year, because we understand people are busy, or you could maybe drop into some webinars that are actually new to the program, because we often get different webinars, different speakers, so there's lots of different opportunities, which is great as well, because we often have some of our older clinical entrepreneur alumni supporting the new cohort and the next generation of innovators. Polly, did you want to add anything to that, or are you that?
Only that, just following on from what Lucy said, and I also mentioned earlier, clinical entrepreneurs that have been through the programme and developed innovations themselves are a great source of knowledge and experience for our new clinical entrepreneurs coming through the programme. So we've created this really great community that enables that learning, sharing, and enables new clinical entrepreneurs to not make the mistakes that some of these the clinical entrepreneurs that have been through the programme have made. So yeah, by accessing all of these people, you sort of short circuit maybe some mistakes by not making them, which helps you to accelerate a bit quicker.
Does that answer all your questions? Is that good?
Yes, exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I hope we get an application from you. So yeah.
Sure, definitely.
I think Jenny has been very hard at work answering loads of questions in the chat. I think there was one around market research. Actually, Tamsin, do you want to come in about this? What level of market research is expected? I've done C10 qualitative interviews, quantitative research, and desk-based research. That's a lot. That's great. Tamsin, do you want to come in on this? Because this is around one of the application questions around research. Do you want to add something to that?
So it's helpful when whilst we're saying that people can have very early stage ideas, I think it's really important for you to have done and have a good understanding of the literature, a good understanding of the problem, understand the data around that, even if you haven't actually done your desk-based or lab-based or clinic-based actual piece of research. And you can be supported within the Clinical Entrepreneur Programme to do that. There are ways that, of course, it helps your application if you, like, the more you're able to put in. Some people have done a very good job of explaining that kind of background research to why their problem is important. And it might be that you've done something simple like an audit or a survey or something else to be able to show why or how people will need that problem sorted, and that solution would be particularly effective. So the more you're able to add to that is great. And you can have done something reasonably, like a survey isn't too difficult to do, but it might be able to signal that other staff members or other patients are interested. It might be that you've connected with other patient groups, and of course we've got the patient expert team here who talk about patient and public involvement. And so of course, like, being able to signal if you've been able to do any of that is definitely worth including. I think that when I was applying, I was starting to try to do a bit of research, but I needed quite a lot of support around understanding how to do that, having not done proper research beforehand, even though I'd been working as a clinician for a long time. I felt really busy in what I was doing, but also a bit lonely in the fact that I was trying to do something different to healthcare. So I think that the programme is really effectively built so that you are able to do your job. I know that was mentioned a bit earlier around sort of working full-time often and then negotiating this. So it's built in order for people to access it as easily as possible with different ways to access it. Either you attend online, or you do the catch-up watching, or you come in person, because obviously you will then get to connect with more people as you get there. So yeah, I think that, yeah, someone's put, can your previous pilot project research a thesis sounds fantastic. Yes, do feel free to use prior research if it supports what you've been able to do. And also it shows, also it helps with showing a level of commitment at the same time. But yes, feel free to use anything you've had beforehand. And if you've got, whilst there's 40% who are early stage, there are other people who are starting to do things like actually get involved in research, or maybe have set up their company. And of course, you're welcome as well. So, and actually it's maybe not surprising actually that people who have got very well-formed companies want to join the programme, because they need the network and they need all of the different types of knowledge sharing. And of course, it's so valuable having all the different types of, I mean, we've heard just on this call, administrators, occupational therapists, for the whole patient. So you've got everybody that you can bounce your ideas off, so you're not looking at it in a one-dimensional way. So yes, your applications, as much as that as you're able to include, is great.
I think Lorraine's got her hand up. Would you like to ask a question, Lorraine?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Welcome.
Hi, sorry I'm not sharing my my screen. I just wanted to ask a follow-up question. It's a bit of a simple one, but in terms of displaying the level of market research that you've already conducted, is there a specific area within the application? Because I don't think I've seen that. Or would it just be incorporating it into the application somehow?
Which program are you applying to?
The clinical entrepreneurship program.
There is a question around the research you've done.
Okay.
I'll find out which question it is, but yeah, we just ask you to do like a bit of research in the background, as Tamsin's already gone into detail around that. But yeah, there is a question around that. It's around 200 words. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Thanks, Lorraine. Let's just have a quick look. I know, again, Jenny is super quick. There was a question about examples of other 1-minute pitches. So we don't take the 1-minute pitches from previous applications. It's a bit harsh, but there are actually some great YouTube videos of where we've actually done interviews with some of our clinical entrepreneurs. There's actually things on social media at the minute. If you follow our Instagram page, you'll see a fantastic pitch by Frances Duffy. So she does a bit of a 1-minute pitch introduction. We've actually been doing quite a bit up to the run up, so you can take a look at those. Again, if I think I said a little bit earlier, we did a fantastic session with John Torrens at our CEP Innovate Health session, which was this autumn around pitching and articulating your idea. Please do take a look at that. There were actually some great examples in that, so please take a look at that. I would say, if you want to be inspired, I do think Frances Duffy does a great job, and Mary, she is one of our, she actually has a dementia innovation. She isn't on the Dementia Innovators, but she is a previous clinical entrepreneur, and she does 6D dementia. Please take a look at that. There is also Glenda, who was on the Dementia Innovators last year, again on the website, and also Devika Wood, so you might want to have a look at that. If you want to see more pitches, also, if you head over to our YouTube channel, there is the big pitch recording from this year. I think there were 10, was it 10, Tamsin? 10 innovators that pitched to an audience of around 900 people. They did a great job. There's some great examples of how to pitch. Please do take a look at that. We'll find that link and we'll find the starting point of those pitches, so you can just have a listen and be inspired, quite frankly, because they're fantastic. But yeah, so I hope that answers that question.
As Alice was saying, it doesn't, we're not expecting it to be polished, and you will learn more about pitching, and you will grow that confidence while you're on the program. So don't be put off. Introducing yourself and introducing your idea in a minute, that's not a huge amount of time. So get inspiration, but also don't be put off, because for some people, just introducing who they are, introducing the problem they're solving and the idea and why, with some research backup, is often great. So we're not expecting you to have it all sorted at this point.
And it's, you know, as I said, you can re-record as much as you want. There's just a little tips I would say. Please make sure you have the lights on, make sure you have the sound on. Sorry, they're just technical bits. These are from past experiences, okay? But yeah, watch it back and just re-record it if you want to. But yeah, we want to see you. We want to see about your innovation. So don't get caught up too much on it. It's, you know, we've seen some fantastic pictures from, you know, the application process. Okay. What else is there in the chat? Thank you so much, Jenny, for sharing all those links. That is great. Let's have a look. Are there any other questions? Does anybody want to put their hand up? No. Oh, we have a hand. Yes, please go ahead.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Brilliant.
Welcome.
Yeah. My name's Charlotte. I work as a pharmacist for 20 years. I'm also a carer. So I work as bank with my local NHS trust. And lately I've taken time off to help care for my loved one with dementia. And that's where I'm also working on a few ideas with lived experience for over 12 years now. So I was wondering, will I be eligible to apply?
Yeah. So Alice, I mean, you can come on this, but I would say both the patient and the Dementia Innovators Programme. Yes,
okay.
Definitely. Yeah.
Right.
And
So
possibly the Clinical Entrepreneur Programme.
Yeah,
if you're
possibly that one.
Bank staff. Yeah. So
okay. So as bank staff, which one would be better to apply? Is it a dementia one or the clinical entrepreneur?
Is your innovation around dementia?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So it is this yeah, okay. I would possibly go for the Dementia Innovators Programme then. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thanks for
Okay.
the clarification.
Thank you so much. We look forward to getting your application.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there any other questions? Has anybody put their hand up, or is there any more in the chat? Oh, let's have a quick look.
I think they've all been answered in the chat, Liz.
Yeah.
Trying to, sorry, I've been beavering away, not listening to anything, just answer the question.
I know, it's going too quick for me to keep up.
Yeah.
While there might be some people just like quickly trying to type, Tamsin, I'm going to put you on the spot. So Tamsin, you're an innovator, obviously on the program and a clinical lead. If you had a bit of advice to people who are applying for the program, what would it be? Oh, putting you on the spot, sorry.
That's great. That's great. I think that we have a certain skill set as clinicians, and perhaps if you're applying as a patient entrepreneur, then your day job might be very different. And I think that there were many different things that I needed to understand about the language that I needed to use and how I was going to verify what I was doing. I needed particular help around how I was going to make myself look around branding or social media, which I felt really insecure about. And I also needed my mentors. My mentors have remained, 6, 7 years later, remained quite important. And I needed that advice. And it wasn't just around the innovation. I needed the advice myself about how I was going to move forward, or the things that I needed to grow at as well. So I felt like I grew and my skill set grew as much as my innovation did. So I think that sometimes you don't know what you don't know, but I think that just stepping into an arena where there are people who think similarly to you and where you don't have the same hierarchy as you do in the hospital, and where everybody just wants to support what you're doing and understands the journey. I think that is almost as important as the rest of the support around your innovation. So I think sometimes we need it more than we realize. And so I would really encourage you to apply, because I think that you can allow that side of you to grow and make the best of it. And even by doing the application process, I think that it helps you think through areas that you're kind of passionate about or understand. Sometimes we don't understand how much we understand about a problem from just the work that you've been doing. And that can be, some of the students have been extraordinary as well, just from struggling with something as a student, but thinking I'm going to make a difference for everybody else. Sorry, you've got a load of hands up now, sorry.
Have we got a couple of legacy hands? Who's next? Lorraine, I think, was that another question you've got, Shahal? Is that yours?
Hiya. So I actually do have another question. So sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
So it just made me think, because obviously it's all about innovation and what have you. If you have an idea or you have a project that you've already been running, but it's something similar to maybe a previous CEP applicant has brought forward to the table, can that be disadvantageous to the applicant, or would it be a case-by-case basis?
No, we understand that there's a lot of people competing sometimes or we want you to know about competitors. So if you understand that other innovations that are in your space, then that's great, because you need to know where you're at. And it could be that you understand your unique identifier, what you're bringing to the table. When Apple computers started, there weren't, I mean, you'd think that maybe there was just like 5 or 6 computers. Apparently it was in the 20s, so over 20 different computers, but they just did it better and they did it well. So that's not a disadvantage. Understanding your competitors is good. And so don't be put off by that. And we've also seen people who are working in exactly the same space who have, over time, depending on the entrepreneurs themselves, ended up forming either an alliance or working together collaboratively, or supporting each other, or becoming each other's co-founders. That's worked incredibly well for some innovators. So it's not at all a barrier if someone else has worked on it. And in fact, it's great, I think, if you've got unique identifiers, which often people have, something unique about your solution that's different, because I think what people do is get inspiration from everybody else. And on that point, no one's taking any intellectual property from you, and their mentors all sign non-disclosure agreements. They sign an agreement with the Clinical Entrepreneur Programme to everybody to behave in a way that they will support your innovation. Nobody is there to take your innovation or steal any ideas. So sometimes you need to be careful of that, but sharing ideas within that forum has always been something that we've tried to protect and keep everybody working in the same way. So it shouldn't be a barrier. And actually, I think sometimes people think they shouldn't mention the competitors because it might make them look like it wasn't an original idea. But actually, if one of the assessors Googles the idea and realizes there are other competitors, then it just looks like you don't know. So having competitors in the space, of course, will happen for most people. So don't be put off.
Thank you. That's very reassuring, especially the Apple analogy, because I always compare it to water companies selling and branding different types of water. So yeah, but thank you very much. Thank you.
Is it Valishali? Is that how you say the name? I'm so
Vaishali.
sorry. Hi, welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Lucy. Thanks for your support with the emails and everything. And you've been fantastic for replying. So very reassuring that there is somebody on the other end to reply. Got a couple of questions still. You know, they're asking about previous any research or project you have done kind of thing. So can it be about your, I did ask in the chat as well, whether it can be your MSc thesis, which you have done something around digital health. And my second question is the support letter. Does it need to be from your line manager or people, or it has to be with people you work with, for example, consultant, maybe not in NHS, but some other trust, or maybe Health Innovation Network, who was your supervisor, whoever, somebody. So can it be from anyone who knows you and possibly your innovation? Thank you.
So I'll take the support letter bits, Tamsin, you can do the research bit. So the letters of support can be from anybody that you've worked with in a professional capacity over the last 2 years. So that's both in and out of the NHS. That's completely fine. So line managers, supervisors, not a problem. Okay. If you're a student, it could be your academic supervisor. It could be one of your lecturers. So yeah. And then Tamsin, you can do the research.
I think also MSc sounds great. It shows that you've thought through your problem, that you've understood it, that maybe you've done a bit of research. I can't imagine that is anything other than brilliant. So yeah, please feel free to use that. That sounds great.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I might have one more question. Actually, sorry. You know, the list of your innovation could be linked with, then they're asking cardiovascular disease, stroke. There is a list. At the moment, because it is very in conception area, we don't know. I don't know where it will head to. So I thought, oh, okay, it might be everything. So I don't know how to choose. How do you select from those?
So it could be applied to various conditions. Okay. I mean, that isn't something that is scored against. It's more our collection. But so I would tick all the ones that you think that it could actually apply to. Yeah.
Even if I say, for example, I don't know about stroke because I work in cardiovascular and that's my specialty. So I can just tick that, but then it could be.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it is invented in future, it might be.
Yeah, exactly. If that's the aim, to actually go across various conditions with your idea, then yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. So what have we got? Any more questions? I think we've got one from Pete. It doesn't sound like this is the case, but would going through the CEP impact any rights, ownership, etc. of the innovation? Many thanks again. Pete, we do not take any IP of your innovation at all. The program does not seek any intellectual property. So yeah, Tamsin, do you want to come in on this? Because I know there is new IP guidelines coming out around trusts and things like that, but we don't take any, do we?
I was just going to say that for me, that was the most important, one of the most important parts about the program. So because I think that I wasn't sure about who I could trust initially and how to have those conversations. So I think that it does keep everybody quite agnostic to it all, and so I think that I felt like I'd found people where I could bounce those ideas off and trust that I was in the right space. So as Lucy says, there's new guidance whenever the team hear about new guidance coming out. It's around how hospitals and the NHS will start to deal with IP. So there'll be information about that as it comes out. Yeah, it's something that is people need to look into. It's great that you're thinking about it early. And there's also mentors who are very good in this area. And then also there's access to lawyers who will either do webinars or sometimes support you one-to-one with thinking through how you're going to manage that intellectual property piece.
Thank you, Tamsin. Let's have a look at the questions. Salma, just very quickly, I would definitely have a look at that Launchpad program I mentioned about the Alzheimer's Society. If you want me to put you in contact with Steve, just let me know and I'll do that email introduction. But yeah, definitely have a look at that, okay? If you're still online. Okay, yeah, no problem at all. So what else have we got here? Let's have a little look.
Was it?
I think Polly's answered that question. Is there any other questions? Does anybody else want to put their hand up? I think they've all been answered, have they?
Hackathons. Did someone mention about hackathons?
Oh, sorry if I missed that. Going too quick.
No,
just want to read that out.
I was just replying to that. Sorry.
Oh, great.
I'll just
Thanks, Polly.
Alongside the pit stops and mentoring and access to sort of expert clinics, one-to-one sessions that we run every year, we always run a varied program of other sorts of learning and support. So, for example, we do hackathons with Air Innovate. We do industry days with IBM where clinical entrepreneurs pitch and they can benefit from support and things like that. But it does vary every year depending on what we're able to arrange with our partners and supporters. So there is like a whole load of different content, but it all depends on who can help us in that particular year.
I don't know if we've got any other questions there. I think I'd just like to hear from Alice, if that's all right, if you're still there, Alice. Just addressing any patients that are on the call and why they should definitely apply, because I should have brought you probably in a little bit earlier to talk a little bit more about the patient program. But yeah, what's your take on this? You've had 2 years of patient cohorts. Why should people apply?
And we've had 2 years, like you say, we're moving into cohort 3, which is really exciting. And I think everybody in the program, including some of our program team who aren't here tonight, had all been kind of advocating for a patient cohort for quite a long time before it got up and running. And that was partly through kind of jumping through hoops and budgeting and stuff like that. But everybody was really kind of passionate about, oh, we definitely need to do this. Because if you think about where the clinical entrepreneur program was kind of born, which was kind of, people, staff in the NHS were seeing ways to innovate and improve care every day all around them, and they were getting really passionate and excited and doing something about it and thinking differently, and then initially had kind of nowhere really to take that other than outside of the NHS, and so the program was born, and it really builds on ideas that come from within, come from really understanding what's going wrong, rather than somebody external parachuting in with my great app that I developed, kind of in America or wherever. So it's really about home growing these kind of really amazing things. And who else can see what is going wrong with the NHS or where things are not working? It's patients and family members, and they live it every day. They live the frustration of poor communication or not joined up care, or they have ideas about the tech that could really change things and give them quality of life back, or kind of more time with their family rather than more time in appointments and jumping from kind of, one part of the NHS to the other. So it's so important for us to get people coming forward with a true understanding of what it's like to live with conditions and what it's like to really kind of go, do you know what? this is how it could change. I've got this idea. I can absolutely see how this will work, and it would transform stuff for me, for my family, for my network of patients, for the, you know, people I talk to on Facebook, for the people I meet up with sometimes in real life, or in kind of, you know, annual get-togethers, for people that I'm connected with through my patient charity or my community organization, and just, you know, apply, bring those ideas. The NHS needs them. We really need them, because yeah, you are the people who can really see where things aren't working and what could be done to fix them. So please do bring those ideas and apply. Does that do it? You can see that we're super enthusiastic, and we're really passionate about this program, everybody who's involved in it. So yeah, hopefully that's kind of a yeah, that's my pitch.
That was very good, Alice. I love that. But yeah, you heard from Alice. You know, we want patients to apply. I don't know if we've got any more questions. Have we got any more questions? Georgina, would you like to ask a question? Hi, welcome.
Hi guys, first of all, thank you. It's been really useful. I've attended a few now, and it's amazing to see how enthusiastic everyone is, and I think it makes us equally as enthusiastic. I've started the application a few days ago. I'm a little bit confused just in terms of how some of the questions might overlap. So I think it was question 21, was the problem or challenge that you addressed in the NHS, and why is it important? So I think this kind of overlaps quite a bit with the research stuff, and I wasn't sure how much research to put in that versus the research question. I don't really want to repeat myself. Is it better to focus on my personal experience as a doctor rather than the facts and figures that I've already probably stated in the research part?
Tamsin, do you want me to come in on this? I think with why it's important, you need to be looking at like the 10-year plan as well, where the priorities are, what your clinical impact will be, what that impact will be around patients. It might not be directly on patients, but overall, if it's an efficiency thing, you know, it's going to improve patient well-being as well. So look at the 10-year plan, where it will fit into priorities, and then really about your research. If there's also papers maybe out on that area, on that problem that you're looking at, maybe you want to quote some of those papers. If it's a well-known issue, you've got stats already out there, there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of content out there, you might want to include that as part of your research. But I'd bring that in. Tamsin, Polly, did you want to add anything to that?
I think that, yeah, I think you're right, George. Think about not overlapping information if you can, because it's reasonably limited, and if you've got other stuff to say, so if you're able to expand more on the problem that you're solving, that's seen as being a really helpful area to identify that people really understand the problem and what the statistics or numbers or and sometimes if you think about the problem in a bit of a 360 look, like who is it that's, is the person buying it going to be the same person that's using it? How does it affect the family or whatever it is? But you can think about you can think about the problem behind the problem. What's the problem that's, you know, what other problems are leading up to that? So if you're able to not overlap with it, then it helps. It probably helps to give us more information on that, and then save some of the research. There's probably a little bit of allowance for a bit of overlap, so that because the word count's tight, so it allows for you to put a little bit of information depending on where you need to spread it out to. But if you're able to, it probably makes sense to not overlap with information if you can, because each one will be credited with what you're able to bring to the table.
Yeah. Can I just ask as well, is it sort of relevant, my clinical experience? Obviously, I'm only an F2, so I haven't had that much experience in the NHS. I can't say I've done it for 20 years, but I have spoken to quite a few patients in sort of like the tens, not hundreds or thousands. So is that something that I should mention in that part rather than the research part as part of the issue? Yeah. Or it's obviously a much smaller scale than the facts and figures of the NHS, but...
That's perfect. That almost sounds like your patient and public involvement piece, doesn't it? Where you, and actually don't underestimate how much experience you've got from that time as a student and that time as a doctor. So that is very valuable, because you were thinking about that problem while you were talking to people. Yes, we're very interested in that kind of thing, and that understanding and the fact that you have sought out that type of opinion. So yeah, I agree. I think that maybe sits in more of a kind of patient engagement, patient voice type of piece. So even if you haven't got to standardized controlled research or anything like that. So yeah, don't underestimate that. That is fantastic that you are an F2. There's not many F2s who decide that what they're going to do means that they're going to focus on being incredibly busy. It's very stressful, and you're also going to do an innovation. So 100 points to that.
Perfect. Thank you for your help. I appreciate it.
Question for Shelley. You want to
I'm
open
sorry.
your mic? No, you're all right.
Sorry, once again. I didn't put it in the chat. Is there any way to download the filled application for your reference?
Be able to download that. She should give you an option just to download that from your dashboard.
After
If not,
submission?
Yeah.
Or not before that?
No, not before that.
Okay.
But I'll contact you offline here, and if you need to have a copy, just let me know. I can sort something out for you. Okay?
All right, thanks.
Okay, no problem. We have any other questions? No? I think we're almost at time then. I just want to thank everybody who has taken time out of their day to come along to this session. We are really excited about the next cohort of patient innovators, clinical entrepreneur innovators, and dementia innovators. We really hope you will apply. We hope you found this useful. A huge thank you to Tamsin, to Alice, to Jenny, to Sophie, and to Polly, who've come along and supported this session. Please just reach out to us if you have any other questions. As I said, there'll be a drop-in session on the 24th, which will be really informal. You can just come and ask me loads of questions, last minute questions, and there'll also be one on the last day of applications. I hope that won't be very busy, to be honest. But please do reach out if you've got any questions. And thank you all so much, and have a great evening. Thanks all.